careful about. Culture is another thing. If you're looking to retain people, you have to understand the culture you're building. And post-COVID, now this is a new time to even say whatever the culture was before, we need to change the culture, because COVID has taught us that we all have to be innovative. Everyone is coming out with new product lines, new service lines that they would never have thought of when work was going normally. So what is culture? Culture is the ideas, customs, and social behavior of a particular people. That's what the dictionary says. But there's another term that I use. I say culture is what you reward or punish. So for example, if someone's attitude stinks, but the person is extremely intelligent, but the person is horrible to all their colleagues and team members, if you keep promoting that person or pushing up that person, then what you're doing is that you're telling the rest of the company that we are okay with you having a bad attitude and being disrespectful to your colleagues. So that is what your culture really is. Now, the way I say it as well, if someone comes into your office and the person is if I'm a new hire, and I show up in your office on your first day and I ask random people, what would you do to get ahead? What should you do to get ahead in this company? Who are the successful people? What do you think made them successful in this company? The answers they give, they may be very varying, but that's a part of your culture. So if people think, oh, I have to suck up to the boss, I don't really have to do much work, I just have to appear like I'm being busy because the person who is getting all the accolades, that's what he or she does, then you realize that there's a tiny problem that you have on your hands. And I find that when you ask people that, it's always different from when I ask CEOs and founders. If you had to describe your company's culture in 5 words, what will you say? Theirs is always something sweet. The people zone is always a mix of different things. So, I mean, one thing you can do from this is you can your team members, how what do they think their culture is? What do they think the culture in the company is? And just see what they say. And then you can find out what do we want this culture to be, so that it's something you can all build together. This is one of the companies in terms of culture, Zappos. Amazon acquired them, 10 different cultural ideas. And it's, in Nigeria, when you hear culture, some people will tell you core values and they will start with integrity, teamwork. They've tried to be a bit more open. So like the 5th one says, pursue growth and learning. That way everyone understands that's what we're here for. Build open, the 6th one, build open and honest relationships with communication. And communication is getting so big, especially in the remote world now. The last one, be humble. So that way you realize that we don't want someone who has a horrible attitude, even if you are intelligent. So it's things like that. And always remember, building and sustaining culture, it always begins with the founders and the CEOs. You are not exempt from the culture you build. If you're telling people not to harass people, either sexually or bullying wise, or you are doing it, then you're telling them that is the culture you have. So they look at, it's almost like practice what you preach. They look at you and see what to do. And this culture starts from the hiring process and it goes right till when people exit. But it's always important to communicate. Get them to communicate with you what they think the culture is. And then you communicate, and that way people can create something. In the new world that we're in now, technology is the order of the day. So you have to start looking at things like what tools and systems can you use to simplify the processes. A lot of people are on Zoom, a lot of people are on Skype, a lot of people are using, Google Meetup, Hangouts to type and share. People are using Slack, some people are using WhatsApp. Find what works for you. Okay, so I was saying that, what tools and systems, to just find things that help you simplify work. So I was saying that some managers are complaining now that then they don't feel like they're able to connect with their teams because everyone is at home. So you have to figure out or get them to even do their work on time. There are different project management or time management tools that you can use. But you can use something as simple as Excel or Google Sheets. Everyone writes what they have to do or what they're creating that week or what they're working on that week. And, every day you can have a little, what have you achieved? So how close are we to the goal? So that way people are not also slacking off at home. So you can find different things that work for you, but you have to, as managers or as founders or as leaders, it's up to you, it's up to us to find a way to connect with our teams. So it might mean increasing the number of team meetings that they have. not just so that you are seeing, but just so that if there are also any challenges that they have, they can talk to you, work with you on them. And then even to innovate. How do you innovate around policies? Gone are the days where you have an employee handbook. I know some people still have that of 60 pages and just throw it out word. Boring people, nobody's reading more. Attention span is just shortening as the years go by. But now you can say, how do we design it? How do we make sure? Because now everybody can use technology, and technology is literally just right there. So how do we design these policies? How do we create them so that they look interesting and keep people engaged? How do we create and innovate around the work that we do? And I find that if you open up and you allow people to just think outside the box and say to them, guys, we're no more handling things as normal. Now people come up with your creative ideas. I find that that's how people work best. My team, for example, they push me. They're younger than me. They're true millennials, and they push me to do things that I wouldn't have done before, even though I like to think I'm quite innovative. But we're constantly playing around with things on social media and just pushing our brand out there. And that's something that, I think everyone should do. Go back to the drawing board and say, how can we make our company interesting? And in that way, people feel like, okay, there's a reason to be in this company. Yes, I think I was trying to do on that 20, 30 minutes. So I think in a nutshell, I'll just say to you that, use technology as much as you can, use social media as much as you can, they would work for you. And I find that the companies that use these two things well are the ones that really stand out in what they do, because then the people that are in there feel like they're free to think. And the way you can get people who are high performing people is when you free them up and say, look, we've got good people on board. Now we trust you to do good work. That's how I feel, you get, and that's how I've seen that you have high performing teams. Okay, thank you.
One is, you want to get the best hands to manage your business, but your business, your cash flow is constraining you. How do you balance that? How do you balance pay? Because to get the best hands or have the best hands to manage your business, you need to also pay them well so that they are content and they can stay with you. Money is very important for any employee. So how do you balance that? How do you say your and still get the amount? We have a long-term boom like this always. Thank you.
Okay, great question. I think for me, it's also where are you looking? Because I've worked with a lot of startups, we're not always so open to experienced people for all roles. There's some roles that don't need people that have the most experience. So I'll give you an example. I worked in a tech and innovation company, and I had to work with a number of startups. We were very big on getting people who were getting interns, getting people who were, who were in NYC, getting people who had 0 to 3 years experience, depending on what you wanted them for, but getting people who were smart, getting people who were passionate about your industry. So not getting people that you feel like you then have to do 100% in terms of training them, or people who are extremely smart, who pick things up easily. And because they're younger and more creative, they will see things differently from you. But then you have the experience to guide them right so that they don't make errors constantly. So I think that's what you need to go for. Also, you can look at a creative designer that works on my team. The way we did before COVID made sure nobody could come to work was she used to come in once a week, right? So she works the other days, but then she's not coming into the office. So that reduced anything salary-wise in terms of transport and her being at home. Now, because she is a creative designer, most of her time that she works is in the middle of the night. I'm fine with that. Again, I'm easy as long as work gets done. So anything we need to send to her, everything is sent in the evening. By the time you're up in the morning, she's done it. So you also, I think the word is agility. Everyone has to be a bit flexible and agile in this period, especially when you are not flush with cash. So I think that's what it is. There's some people who have people come in and work just 3 days a week, and then they reduce whatever they're paying them, because then the other 2 days, the people can do whatever they want, right? So it doesn't have to be, it's no hard and fast rule. If you don't have that money to pay the experienced people, what's the next best option? And the next best option is what you will have to go with. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you very much. It answers you.
Okay. Any other questions?
This morning, I'm going to be looking at rethinking the corporate finance, that is making sure that you choose the right form of finance for you. And one of the key things or important things in being able to choose the right finance for yourself is in understanding what these options are and what they mean for your business. All right, so I'm going to go straight into my slide. And I think there's an opinion poll that we're supposed to do. What is your business form? So I think you can get that from the chat room. Please check the chat room. They should have dropped a link there. Please fill the link when it is dropped. But if the link is not yet there, we'll come back and do this poll so that we can gain some time. So, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit more about business, different form of business forms. Business forms, we have companies that are called sole proprietorship or sole proprietorship. Then we have partnership, we have company structure. The different ones have different characteristics based on ownership. For instance, a sole proprietorship is a business that is owned by just one person. And usually in Nigeria, if you're going to register that company with CAC, it means that the registration that you did is most likely what we call a business name registration. You don't have a full registration. And usually such companies, we say that both the individual and the company, in the eye of the law, we are seen as one and the same company. Please, as I'm talking, if you have any question on all these things, please just put it in the question so that you're not into the chat, so that you will not forget your question. So the sole proprietor, you are the owner of the business. The legal requirements are usually very few. Legally, there is no distinction between the owner and the business. Now, we say that liability is unlimited. What does that mean? If anything happens and that business folds up, and at the point in time that the business is folding up, you are owing some people, because there is no limited liability, they can dip hand into everything that you own and still get whatever it is that you are owing. So you are responsible for all the losses that such a business makes, and you're also responsible for, or you own all the profits that the business makes. Now, ability to raise capital. Because such a company does not have a legal distinction between the business and the owner, most financial institutions will not give money. They don't give loans to such organizations. So if you are in such a situation, you will find out that you're already limiting your ability to be able to get finance from financial institutions, including companies like what's it called? Including financial institutions like Bank of Industry, government organizations. They are very, very limited in the way they give money to business name registration. Some of them, like BOI, that's Bank of Industry, they won't even give you money at all. Partnership is almost the same thing as sole proprietor. The only thing is that you have more than one person in that situation, but what they still have is still the same thing as everything that I have just explained. Raising capital is also limited, maybe a little bit better than one person trying to raise capital, because at least people can see diversity. They can see that you have many people there. So it won't be as limiting as what you have under the sole proprietor, but it is still limited. The best form of registration that you can have when you're trying to grow as a company is, or as a business, is the limited liability company. Why? Number one, you can have many shareholders. We don't call them partners, we call them shareholders. There are a lot of legal issues to take, but the key thing is that there's a legal separation between the owners and the business. And this is very interesting to financial institutions. Why? They can sue that company, the company can sue anybody that is owing them as well. And so people find it easier to lend to such organizations. Now, does it have its own disadvantages as well? Because of my time, I won't go into that, but if anybody wants to know, please ask it as a question so that I'll take that once I am done with the slides that I have. So you can do it now. Let us know. We want to know what your business form is. I'm sure the question has already been posted. Let's try it again. Some people are saying they can't find the poll. So again, like I said, during our the times that we have allotted for networking, we can do the polls and discuss it at that time. Let's just move on so that we don't lose too much time. Now, one thing that I would like to say to you as a finance person is that you are not your business and your business is not you. In accounting, we have what we call entity. So even when you have a business name registration, you must not treat that business as if it is one and the same with you. You must obey this entity. That means that separates the account of the company from your own. So if you are in this meeting today and you have not been able to, you have not separated the company's account from your own, then you are treating yourself and your company as one as the same. And it is a key success factor. If you must take money from your organization, you need to, if you must take money from your organization, pay yourself salary or take it as a loan from the company so that we know that you are owing the company and you need to pay it back. It sounds funny, but the truth is, if you don't separate the business from yourself, you will never know when you are making profits or when the business is not making profits and you are just using your money to run that business. It doesn't matter how small your business is. Go and open an account for that business. Even if it is a business name registration, you can open an account in the bank. So this is one concept that I want each and every one of us, those of us that already have business, or those of us that might be thinking of having a business in the future on this platform, please make sure that you separate yourself. That's why a lot of businesses fail, because you keep spending money, you pay children's school fees out of your business account, you keep doing everything, you want to buy things into the house, you do it from that account. Because you have not separated yourself from the business, it's difficult to know whether the business is the one making money or whether you are the one killing the business. Number two that I would like to say today, from a structural perspective, it is important for you as a business owner to understand the key stakeholders of your business. There are so many of them. Number one, if you are a limited liability company and you have shareholders, they are a stakeholder. They want to make sure that that business is making profits so that they can have dividend that is returned to them at the end of the day. You as management, you are a stakeholder. Employees are a stakeholder. Like Tom said, a lot of times the perception that we as business owners have about what is going on in our business or how happy our employees are is different from the perspective that the employees have. So from time to time, I mean, once in a while, I think in my organization, we've done something we call 360 review, 360-degree review. That means that you don't need to put your name. Review everybody else, review your managers, let everybody know how they are doing. Maybe they shout too much or things like that, so that the business can actually have a very good understanding. Investors, those who might be interested in bringing new money to your business, your creditors, your customers, these are all your stakeholders. And when you're looking at the vision and mission of your organization, it must consider all these stakeholders so that at the end of the day, you are actually delivering value to all the important stakeholders in your business. Different businesses have different objectives, but no matter what your own objective is, I mean, that's a question we can answer. And very quickly, because our poll is not working the way we want it to work, we don't want to waste so much time today. I would like you maybe in the comment section, out of all these business objectives that I've put here, what do you consider to be your own? Yes, thank you very much. If you're not able to open the poll, just tell us in the comments what form your the business form that your business is. Okay, then Tom is telling us that the poll is working now, so we can go and do it. But I would also like to know, from all these business objectives that we have here, which one do you think you tend to focus on in your business? Just quickly answer in the chat. Are you more focused on gaining more market value or market share to be important in your, what's it called, in the industry that you operate? Is your own about maximizing profits? Is objective about minimize? Which one do you think you put more emphasis on? Thank you very much, Dami, for answering. She said maintain steady earning growth. Tone says market value. who else wants to answer? At least one more person. I would be happy if one more person could give me a response. What are you trying to do? Minimize cost, maximize profits, or what are you trying to do? Okay, yes, somebody said maximize. Thank you, Moturayo. Says maximize market value. Maximize market value. I think there's some people that are trying to come into the meeting. Please try and check whether there's anybody in the waiting room. All right, now of these business objectives, the question somebody will ask me is, Fumi, which one are you going to advise us that we should use? I will tell you that you need to have your eyes on most of them, if not all of them. Why do I say so? If you want to maximize your market value, but you don't maximize your revenue or your market share, you will not be able to maximize your market value. If you want to maximize profits, you are likely going to be cutting costs in a different way. There are two terminologies that I would like to introduce here. There's what we call cost management and cost reduction. Cost reduction is when you reduce cost at all costs. Permits my grammar. Whereas your cost management is when you are optimizing costs. That means that you are only, somebody says they can't hear me. I think it's your network. I think others can hear me. Can we all hear me, or people?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Dapo, please, I
I
think
can
you
hear
need
you
to
very
check.
well.
Thank you very much. Yes, Dapo was saying that he could not hear me. All right, so what I'm saying is that these objectives need to be balanced with one another. If you are cost at all days, as in you just want to cut costs, you will probably reduce salaries of some of the staff that are so important to you, that very, very good value. And before you know what's happening, you will lose such hands. So we need, as business owners, as people who want to go into business, it is important for us to know that all these objectives are important and we must balance each and every one of them together. Thank you very much. So I move on. I'm not going to, I think based on what I'm talking about, we already have an idea of what finance is. How do you manage businesses? I want to just pick as many things as I can pick in the slides that I have. Another question, why do businesses fail? In Nigeria especially, why do businesses in Nigeria fail? There are various reasons. Some of them are within our control. Some of them are not within our control. And for a lot of SMEs, the factors that we have identified here, I'm sure that you can identify with a whole lot of them. Slow sales, for instance, when the pandemic happened, it led to a lot of us not having sales at all. Sales for some organizations went to practically zero. Meanwhile, cost was not zero. They had probably paid rent for their offices, or they were paying on a regular basis, maybe on a monthly basis. Somebody is not muted, please check your mic so that others will be able to hear me. Sometimes organizations have very good ideas, but they grow too fast. They do not put down structure that can support the growth. And that's what Tone was trying to say. What she's saying about people is also what's the word? Is also applicable to what we call processes. Maybe the next SME clinic will focus on processes. If you don't have a structure that supports your growth, no matter how much potential you have, that business might fail because you did not create the structure that was needed. Earlier on, when one of our SMEs was talking about what they do, was telling us that the macroeconomic, that means that what is happening in the economy has affected exportation from this company, from this country, and is affecting that particular business. And not just them, every business in Nigeria practically. The next one talks about lack of capital. Lack of capital, and that's one of the reasons why we started the BridgeAngels, to help SMEs raise the much needed capital. Rising costs is also another one. I can't talk about very all of them, but I want to talk about this particular one that says no one to turn to for help. And what we mean by that is a lot of business owners do not have mentors. They do not have people they talk to. They don't have advisory board. It's not about having a very big company. When we talk about an advisory board, it's just a group of people. You don't need to pay them. that you can call when you have issues to talk to them and find out how what they think you're doing wrong or doing right, or what you can do to actually grow. You may want to note down, maybe as part of the questions you want to ask, any of the ones that has affected you, that you feel is affecting your business the most out of the ones that I've listed here. And then you can ask questions during the sessions to find out how you can overcome them. We'll try our best to help where we can. All right, let's go on. Yes, so we have a poll about that. So it's either you you go on and try to get the poll done, or you answer on the chat. Try the poll, I think it should work. But if you cannot, because the poll helps us if we're able to get the results, so that you find out that you are not alone. Which of the factors that I have mentioned before now actually affect your business the most? But if you are finding it difficult to go to the poll, just type it in the chat and let's see what it is that you think is affecting your business the most. But we would really love it if you can go to the poll. I'll just leave 1 minute for that. 1 minute. Please try and go to the poll. It has already been put here by Busayo. Sumbala, do you want to share your screen so that we'll see the results?
I believe everyone can see the results screen. I've shared the screen.
Let me stop sharing mine. Okay. Okay. Yes, it's beginning to come in. Please, let's have more votes. Only 2 people have voted. When we have more votes, then we'll see what is really going on. Which of these is most likely to affect your business? I've not seen anybody on lack of capital. That's interesting. Please, let's vote. So it updates as we vote. Sumbala, do you want to refresh and see whether more people have voted? Oh, it's only still 2 people we have there. Okay, Sumbala, because can you just allow me to share my screen again? Okay, I'll share my screen now. All right, so for those who are not able to do the polls, can you put your comments? Look at all the factors that I've raised here and put the comment in the chat. Which of the factors do you think is affecting your business the most? Okay. Thank you, Tone. Tone is resending it. Sumala, do you have a different view now? Do you have more people voting so that you can show us your screen? Okay, still a work in progress, but insufficient capital. Thank you very much, Kendi. Yes, I expected that we'll be able to get that response from a few people as well. Any other one, any other responses? Okay. Low sales affected mine and insufficient capital. Thank you very much. I think for the next session where we want to allow people to talk, I think we would like to hear from you, Bisoye and Kende, to give us a little bit of perspective about how these factors have affected you. Thank you very much. Because of our time, again, we don't want to keep you for longer than we have promised you. Thank you. Someone else said the economy. Thank you. Keep the comments coming. And what I would advise that Sumbala should do, if more people vote, please do a screenshot so that we can see it later. All right, let's move on. Now, because of our time, I want to just move to a few other things that I think are very, very critical for SMEs. The next point I want to talk about is profitability is not synonymous with liquidity. a lot of us do transactions, right? And we look at it, oh, on this transaction, I am making 30%. That is the profitability of the transaction. But does it convert to cash in the economy? In your account? If it does not convert to cash in your account, your business may not still do well. Why? Because you are selling on credit. Somebody will say, Fumi, are you saying we should not sell on credit again? No. If you want to grow your business, unfortunately, you have to give credit. But you have to give credit with sense. You can't just be giving credit to everybody. Because if you make a profit on a transaction, maybe what it costs you to produce that service is, let's say, 10 naira. Is like 10 naira. And you sold it for 15 naira. You have made a profit of 5 naira. But if I don't pay you that 15 naira, not only have you lost the profit that you were supposed to make, but even your costs, you have lost it. And that is why it is important for us to manage ourselves very well. Profitability and liquidity is not the same. So we need to note that so that we don't get our business into a lot of problem. Thank you very much. Now, another thing that I'd like to talk about, even as I begin to wrap up because of our time, is the concept of working capital. Working capital is the amount of money that you need for running your business on a day-to-day basis. And this particular amount, some people will use what we call short-term money. That means the money they have to collect, return to the owner very, very quickly. Let me give you a practical example. I want to start selling pure water. So I have gotten all my equipment together and I've started production, but I don't have the money for working capital for the day-to-day running of the business. So I went to meet a bank and I told them, borrow me 1 million naira. And they said, okay, you can have 1 million. But that 1 million naira, I have to return it by the end of the month. I may not be able to return it. Why? Because the time that they are giving me is too short. Please, somebody is unmuted. Please, let's check ourselves. Somebody's unmuted and you are on the phone. Thank you. All right, so let's go on. So how should you determine what kind of working capital you require? The kind of working capital that you require depends on the nature of your business. If your business is a business that requires what we call a lot of fixed assets, that means you need to buy a lot of equipment, then the amount of working capital you require or the type of working capital you require should be more long-term in nature rather than short-term in nature. If you are in trading people are people who buy maybe Indomie from the market and sell the Indomie. But if you have to manufacture the Indomie, the money that the person manufacturing Indomie needs is different from the money that somebody that is just buying Indomie from the market and selling within a few days. The kind of money that they need requires. How long does it take you to finish production if you are in production? These are all the kind of things that should determine the kind of money you take. Then, is your business the kind of business? Here I can see Precious writing that the economy. So is your business the kind of business that is easily affected when the economy is down? The kind of money you need for your business is different from those that, whether or not the economy is down, their business tends to do okay. For example, people selling food items. If I ask here now, is there anybody that has not eaten at all this week? I'm sure that I will not get, I'm not likely to get anybody that has not eaten this week, unless you have declared the dry fasting. Otherwise, at least you would have eaten a few times this week. And that is why people selling food, we say they are defensive. Why? Whether the economy is down or the economy is not down, their businesses tend to do very well. So you need to understand quite a lot of factors for you to determine where you are going to get your money from. That will make you to determine the kind of money that you want to take. Now, I've done this slide to make you understand how, what's it called, working capital differ. If, for instance, if you are a manufacturer, then what I have on the left is how your own operating cycle looks like, because you take cash, you get raw materials. One of my sisters that is on this call right now, she's into fashion designing. So she will buy raw materials, she'll get all the sewing materials and all of those things, and probably sometimes even the material itself that she's going to sew. Then she gives it to the tailors to sew. That is work in progress. When they finish sewing, that is finished goods. Then you sell to the people that you are sewing for, or you collect the money from there, you give it back to the people that you're sewing. Now, immediately, if for instance, you are getting your money immediately at the point of sale, then your work operating cycle is complete. But for a lot of businesses, people will come and collect these clothes, they have not paid. That means you have debtors. And if you have debtors, your operating cycle is not complete. So your operating cycle is not complete until your debtors pay. So if businesses don't understand this, you keep saying, I'm doing business, but you don't have money. So that means you are profitable, but not liquid. A business that is profitable and not liquid will go out of business. A business that is liquid, but not profitable will eventually go out of business. So as a business owner, you want to make sure that your business is both liquid and profitable. For those who are maybe service providers or those who are traders, you will have a shorter operating cycle. So again, we have another poll. What sources of funds have you typically used for your business? Are you borrowing money to run your business, or are you using your own personal money? That's what we would like to know. Are you using debts from banks? Are you using equity? Equity is when you are using either your own money or money gotten from other shareholders in the business. Which one have you been using? Would like to know. There's a poll for it, but if you, like I said, if you cannot get to the poll, again, just go ahead and put it in the chat room. We will still read it off of the chat room. Are you using your own money? Are you using loans? A lot of times as businesses begin to grow, you will find out that using your own, cash alone may not be enough, and you need to take loans. Taking loan is not the problem. It's taking a loan that is not suitable for your business that is the problem. And that is why we are showing sources of funds. Either you are getting money internally, or you are getting your funds externally. And you can see here, if you're getting money internally, it's either you're using retained profit that you have made in the business, or you are selling some assets that you don't need anymore. But if you're going out, it's either you want to bring in new shareholders, or you want to, it's either you're bringing in new shareholders, or you are going to a financial institution for a loan. And on the board here, that's what I have, all the different types of loans that you can have. The short-term one, medium-term, and the long-term ones. Somebody said personal funds and investors. A lot of people are saying equity and debt. Chinedu said equity, personal funds, equity and loan, personal funds. You know, if you're using personal funds, it's very good, but do you have unlimited personal funds? When you want your business to expand, oftentimes you will find out that, especially depending on the kind of business you're doing, if it is something that is a service-based, you may not necessarily need to take a loan, because it is service, it is your skill you are using. But for those who do products, those who do manufacturing, those who do trading, as they begin to grow the volume of business that they are doing, they usually require more funding. And that's when a lot of them take loans. We've had to help some of our customers that went to take short-term loan from the bank in form of overdraft, and it's almost killed their business, because overdraft is a very, time doesn't permit me to be able to give you more details, but it can kill a business if you are not having high turnover in that business, because whatever is outstanding every day is what interest is calculated on. So the interest can actually kill the business. So that's why we're trying to do this, to educate businesses about the different types of financing that is out there, so that you don't take the wrong one. I've had a business that took short-term loan for their working capital, and the owner of the business almost died because the problem was too much. When we met them, we had to go to the bank and restructure that loan. Chinedu is saying processing of loan in Nigeria most times is unachievable. Sorry, I beg to disagree. You can get loan from Bank of Industry. You can get loan from Central Bank. You can get loan from NESAL. I'm writing NESAL on the board. on the chat room, you can get all these loans. You can get loan from Nexim. You just need to be using the right people to access this loan. A lot of times our documentation does not make us bankable. So you need a business development service provider, somebody like our company, that will help package you in the right way so that the banks will actually listen to you. Sometimes it's not that your business idea is not right, but you're not showcasing it in the right way. And that's what is making it difficult for people to listen to you. Please don't get me wrong. I know Nigerian banks can be difficult. But we know, if we know your industry, we know some of the banks that, for instance, are friendly to some industries. For instance, we do a lot of we help a lot of agri-based businesses. We know that it is not every bank that you go to for an agri loan. So we know those ones that are what's it called, agri friendly, and those are the ones that we will approach when we want to seek those loans. It is difficult, but it is not unachievable. That is the way I would like to put it. So we can talk more about that later. Let's go on. I've already talked about the different types of sources that we have and how we can get it. So how do you choose the right source of financing? I've talked about a little bit. I need to begin to wind up. I'm sure my time is up already. Number one, you must consider the cost of the fund. You must consider the tenor they are giving you. You must consider the impact it will have on your borrowing level. That's what we call leverage. Have you already borrowed? So before you borrow more, can you look at your position? What is the condition of the economy? How would it impact your ability to be able to pay back? Then what is the risk profile of the company as well as the industry where you operate in? All these factors must be, there are questions you must ask yourself. If you know that your project is something that is going to be a little bit of a long term in nature, don't allow somebody to give you a 6-month loan because you are desperate for financing. You will only spoil your credit profile if you do that. You have to look for the right kind of loan for you before you actually go ahead with it. I'm willing to take questions and comments, so please drop your comments. Just the way Chinedu dropped right now, please help us drop your comments and I will read them and I will explain to you. Key questions before seeking external finance. How much do you need? How much finance do you need? If you need 100 million and you have said, let me just go and get 20 million, you will get the 20 million, you will not finish the project, and you will not be able to service the loan. So you are hung in between. That's exactly what will happen. What are the sources of that finance? Should it be maybe share capital? That means bringing other shareholders. And that's one thing I would like to encourage Nigerians to do. A lot of us want to own 100% of our business. 100% of zero is zero. It is better to own 1% of a successful business than to own 100% of a business that is dying. So if your business is dying, could you get others that are interested in joining you in that business? It is better than losing the whole business. You can do equity, that is share capital, and you can also do borrowed funds. How the company will use the acquired finance? One of the problems that we have in Nigeria, again, is that in times past, a lot of SMEs will go and take a loan from BOI, CBN, and see it as a share of the national cake. They will not pay back. This way, we are reducing the ability of CBN to give loans to other companies, number one. Number two, you spoil your own credit report. Number three, the business dies at the end of the day. Some people will take loan, and this is not a lie. I've heard of stories from bankers where somebody will take a loan and go and do birthday, go and buy a new car, go and take chieftaincy title, or for some of us, women like me, buy gold. But the business purpose that they took the loan for, they are not able to actually, they are not able to actually do it. Oriofe is saying, how do you make your business liquid and profitable? How can you streamline debtors to reduce the rates at which we give on credit? I will answer these questions during the question time. I've taken notes of them. Please, let me just end the slides. So post-COVID, what funding sources are you likely to use? That's why we are here. That's why so that before we take those decisions, we can be able to know what it entails, and then we can actually go forward with it. All right, so let me try and end my own slides so that we can be able to. Okay, so I want to make sure that I finish the slides and I take the questions. Basic success factors for SMEs: a focus on the right revenue generating costs. That means it's not to reduce costs at all costs, like I will say. It's not to reduce expenses at all costs. It's to make sure that it is the right cost that we are using. For instance, when Tom was talking, she talked about social media. There is so much money that people are making by advertising their products on Instagram. Some of us don't even have an Instagram page, and we are an SME and we're doing business. It will be tough to grow. So you may want to do that. You may want to sponsor some of the things, ads on some of these social media platforms, so that people will even know what you're doing. If you are very good, but people don't know you, there's a problem. Number 2, automate as many processes as possible. This COVID season has taught a lot of us a lot of things. It doesn't matter the kind of business you're doing. Even if maybe you are in fashion design, you sell maybe textile, what else? You sell groceries. Everybody needs to learn a little bit of technology. And if you cannot learn, then hire somebody who can do it for you. We need to make sure that our processes are automated. When we say automated, that means without so much of human intervention like that, getting things done. Number 3, like Tom said, some of her staff and her clients have had to lay off staff and all that. It's a decision to take right now. And if you have to lay off people, it is rather 3 people remain and you can survive and sustain that business than to keep everybody and at the end of the day, you don't pay anybody. I know of a business that's not doing so well right now, and some of the staff are insulting the managing director. Why? He has a soft heart. He does not like to sack. So he has not sacked anybody. He is waiting for money to come in so that he can pay everybody. While he's thinking of this, somebody is getting angry that this man is not paying my salary and insulting him. Does it make sense? So, and I'm sure some of us might have had that experience. So please, if you have to lay off some people to be able to manage your costs, make the tough decision. I can tell you as a business owner, one of the most difficult decisions and actions I have to take is when I have to let somebody go. Last year, we had to let 3 people go. But today, the business is more right-sized. And thank God we did that before the COVID started. So we didn't have to lay off anybody because everybody that was around was working optimally. Last point, an understanding of the economic, political, and environmental factors. If you are in this meeting today, I want to congratulate you because you're already taking the right step in the right direction. Learning more about what is out there that will help your business to grow and to expand beyond where it is. You need to attend more webinars like this. You may say, I don't know these economic jargons that they're talking about. There are some of these webinars that they actually break these things down. So you need to attend some of those. You need to ask questions. Now you are already, you already know us. You have already entered our database. We send out information very regularly on the economy. And when we send anything, if you don't understand what we have said, you can engage with us. Ask questions. What is the implication of this thing that you guys have said for my business? Tell us your industry. And it will be our pleasure to actually explain it to you. We want businesses to grow. We call ourselves financial incubators. We want to incubate small businesses in Nigeria to actually become bigger. So because of our time, I want to stop here. So that others, these slides will be shared to us. And if you have any questions on any of the things that I have not talked about, then we will be willing to engage with you on that. Thank you very much. So the last thing I will say before I start taking the questions, what should you prepare for? What should you be doing right now? you must resolve that your business is not going to die. Don't be afraid. Don't think that this will be the end of your business. Number 2, be resilient. Push forward. Number 3, return. Create detailed plan of how you return your business back to what it used to be. You can do it. And the last point, the 4th point says reimagination. Things have changed. If you want to keep doing your business the way it was done before, you may not get a good result. Reform yourself. Disrupt yourself. Don't let the environment change you. You change your environment. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening to me. And so now I'll go to questions. I'm going to go to the questions. Okay, I've already answered Chinedu's first point, but I'm going to go back to, I've seen his response to me, so I'm going to still read it as we go on. All right, so the first question here is from Oreofe Komolafe, and he's saying, how do you make your business liquid and profitable? How can you streamline debtors to reduce the rate at which we give on credit? Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to start with your first question because you have 2 questions there. The first one, how do you make your business liquid and profitable? The simple, in fact, the 2 questions are related. The simple thing is this. Before you give out credit, I've told you that what makes a profitable business not to be liquid is bad credit, majorly. So what do? The first thing you do is, before you give out credit, don't just give out credit anyhow. If you go to the bank, let me give you 2 illustrations. Aliko Dangote and Funmi Adepoju. Who is more known in the economy? Aliko Dangote. So if Aliko Dangote goes to GT Bank and Funmi Adepoju goes to GT Bank to get a loan, Aliko Dangote will get more money than Funmi. What is it that they have used to do to make that decision? It's called what we call credit rating. They have rated the 2 of us. They have rated Aliko as low risk, and they have rated me as medium to high risk. So the amount of money I will access is lower than what Dangote will access. The same way, not everybody that is coming to your business should be able to access the same level of credit. You need to know your customers and you need to rate them. You need to have a credit policy. If you are just buying things from us for the first time, we will only do on cash basis. As you progress, we'll give you X amount of credits, whether in days or in absolute amount. That way, you don't put yourself in trouble at once by giving credit to everybody, every Tom, Dick, and Harry that tries to do business with you, without you knowing who they really are. It is character that determines whether people, one of the C's of credit is character. Another one is capacity. That means, does the person have the character, that is willingness to repay you? Then capacity is ability to repay you. So you need to make sure that you balance the 2 of them together, and that is what will determine the liquidity of your business. As regards profitability, profitability depends on what is the cost of production. Some of us are not keeping tab of the cost of production. When I say cost of production, sorry, I will use that garment business again. Are you paying rent? Even if you are in a place where you are not paying rent, there is a cost to that place. So the first thing is you must put a cost to the rent, to the space you are using for that business, even if it is your house. That way you will know the true cost of doing your business. Your staff costs, all the little, keep very good records of your expenses. The one that is maybe general, that means that it is a fixed cost. You will share it on a per unit basis on the kind of job you are doing, so that at the end of the day, you will make profits. If your expenses are more than your revenue, you will make a loss. But if your revenue is more than your expenses, you make a profit. So I think I've answered both questions. If you think I haven't answered it well enough, please ask another question again. Because of time, let me go to the next one. After applying for NESA loan, this is coming from Olatunji Akinola Stephen. He says, after applying for the NESA loan, it was approved but was requesting BVN. Is it advisable to input the BVN on the provided link? As long as you need to first of all be sure that it is not a cloned website. And if you are not sure that it is a cloned website, there must be a phone number to NESA that you can call. If you can confirm that it is NESA that is trying to get your BVN, then it will be advisable for you to put it. So, but before you do that, please call their line. Make sure that they are the one that sends the link to you and not a fake website. Thank you very much. All right, the next point or comment is from Chinedu, and I'm going to read it. It's a long one. It says, as a farmer, coordinating more than 1,000 farmers. As a farmer coordinating more than 1,000 farmers, I focus on implementing financing, yet it is not achievable. NESA, BOA, BOI, most times do not focus on practical, rather they focus on theory. Example, I was invited to submit an expression of EOP. Please, you need to tell me what EOP is. I'm thinking, I thought it was the expression of something for ginger farming in one of the 3 mentioned above. And their approved EOP is almost 3 times lower than what is achievable. Now I am convinced to take what they are offering, though it will not serve its purpose. Like I've said, the situation is not perfect, but I wouldn't say it is impossible. It just depends on who you are talking to. And that is why it is always good to have a consultant on your side. This person will know, we speak their language, we speak their financial language. So if they are offering you something that is not good, sometimes we in our own terms, in financial terms, by showing projections and all, can make them understand why that will not work. I'm not saying that we don't have problem with the financial system in Nigeria. A lot of SMEs will find it difficult based on the hurdles that the banks have put down to access some of these transactions that you're talking about. Bank of Agriculture, the same thing. Bank of Industry will request, for example, collateral. And if you want, so if I'm an SME and I don't have a collateral, how do I get access to that? But like I said, it is better to actually work with someone so that you explore your different options so that you package yourself very well. It is not impossible to do it. And it might be a little bit difficult to do it, but with proper packaging, you can actually get very good responses from these people. And where they are offering you something, so my last comment on that is where they're offering you something that is not going to work for you, it's either you show them in financial terms why it will not work, or you make them to agree that they will do it in phases. That means they may not disburse everything at once, but if they are willing to do a phase 2, a tranche 2, tranche 3, then it may still work for you on the long run. Because of our time, I may not be able to talk more than that, but you can engage with us later so that I will explain that to you a little bit more. Then I take the last comment I have here. For businessmen in the agro-commodity trading, we relate and do businesses with farmers and agents, which are made up of mainly 80% of people with low level of education and exposure. It affects our communication and transactions with them. How can these people be enlightened a bit to enable us to have better transaction flow with them? Because it affects our flow too. Thank you very much. You know what we are doing today? We are giving back to society. Pearl Mutual Consulting and Tom's company as well. We're giving back to the society. Tom, please help me type in your company's name again so that I'll be able to read it out correctly. The people something. I'm so sorry, I've forgotten right now, but once she types it in, I'll say it out again. So you have to also organize things like this sometimes. It doesn't have to be in the way we have organized it, but understanding what the people that you're working with require. You have realized the fact that they lack education. The people practice. Thank you very much. The people practice, yes. So Pearl Mutual Consulting and the people practice, today we are giving back to society. This is at no cost to any of us, as in we didn't collect any fee from anybody. Tom did not collect any fee from Pearl Mutual Consulting. She's doing this as a social responsibility to everyone. So you need to also find out ways. So for instance, a lot of them do have phones, they have WhatsApp, they have these phones, Android phones that can do maybe WhatsApp and things like that. So you need to look for ingenious ways, innovative ways of getting them to do things in the way that you want to do it. Then you organize a training session. Train them. You tell them it's a free session. Once you tell them it's free, in fact, if it is necessary, you can even provide data to make their phones, ready for what you want to do for that day. And then you do it. And then you get them, to know how to use some things. You practicalize it while they are there with you so that it will be easier for them to be able to do what you need them to do. So I hope that answers that question. I don't know if we have any other question. Somebody might want to maybe pass a comment or something. If you want to actually maybe contribute, talk during this session, I think at this point you can. You only need to raise your hand so that the host can actually give you the opportunity to talk. Just raise your hand so that they will be able to give you the opportunity to talk. Anyone that wants to talk or ask a question verbally? Anyone? Is there any question, anyone that wants to ask a question, or we have answered all questions? Okay, in the absence of any questions, thank you very much for listening. I'm going to hand over. Okay, somebody is saying something else. All right, thank you very much. Okay, so I think the last session, I'm still the one. I'm still the one that is supposed to anchor it. That is raising money with, raising capital with BridgeAngels. Like I mentioned earlier on, we have a platform that we use to raise funds for SMEs. Because of some of the challenges that Chinedu has talked about, a lot of SMEs are regarded as unbankable by financial institutions. So you need to do some things. You need to build your credit. You need to show, you need to build your volume of activities. There are so many things sometimes that stopped you from being able to access that finance that you're trying to get. And that was why we created the BridgeAngels. And with that, that's what we've been able to help a lot of farmers. So it is a business incubation platform that was established to help SMEs grow sustainably and to help increase Nigeria's exports capacity. That's our focus on that platform. You are going to be able to, some of the things that we offer access to finance, financial advisory, and business process improvement services from that platform. And you can, let me go on, I think I still have it on another platform. We actually raise the money from high net worth individuals. So we raise money for business, access to capital is from high net worth individuals. We're not going through the banks. People who are interested in, who believe in our story, that we want to improve Nigeria's ability to export and to grow and to create employment, they are bringing capital to this platform. And we have raised almost $1.5 million. That is in Naira, more than, if not close to, around 500 million Naira, if not more at this point. So you can raise money either by debt, by equity, or what we call mezzanine. Mezzanine is a mixture, a structure that is like debt and equity in another way. So initially they bring the money to you as debt, but you are giving them the opportunity to buy into your business at a future date. That's what we call mezzanine capital. This is what we look like right now. Of the monies that we have raised on this platform, 80% was for agri-businesses, either those in processing, primary production, and commodities trading. When we say primary production, I need to be very specific. We don't really like to do farms, but we do poultries. So that is a primary production that we do. We do poultries because, and there are factors we look at, but we always prefer agri-value chain. That means apart from primary production, those that are trading, those that are processing, those that are exporting, they are the ones that we are looking at on this platform. But we also look at other industries as well. We have apparel manufacturing. We like manufacturing as well. So we have companies that are not in what's it called, agric that are manufacturing that we have helped as well. These are some of the transactions that we have done till date. These are real transactions that we have done till date. We've been in existence for about 2 years, this particular BridgeAngels product. Pearl Mutual has been in existence for much longer than that. We've been in existence since 2012, but the BridgeAngels platform started in May 2018. And these are some of the companies that we have raised money for over that period of time. And these are all Nigerian businesses. They are people that you can actually confirm from whether truly we raised money for them or not. That's all, because we don't want to bore you. This is not really to say, come and take loan from us or something like that. That's not the major focus. Our major focus is to educate businesses. So that's what we want to say. The final poll is also there. Please help us to do the polls. We want to know how much we have been able to make impact. Chinedu is asking, can you buy tractors? No, we don't do, we do working capital. We don't finance the purchase of fixed assets, because the kind of money that we have, like we said, we will not want to bring the wrong money into your business. But the best thing to do is, let's talk after this session. You can engage with us. Sumbana and the rest of the team, can you put email addresses that they can reach us on this on the chat room, so that they can quickly copy it? The people practice team, please put your email address that people can reach you on if they want to use your services, so that they can engage with us. We also would like, and we believe that on this platform right now, we have people that can partner with each other. What we are trying to create an ecosystem, B2B. So, I mean, that's why we requested your information as well. So we will circulate information. Unless you don't want us to circulate your own information, please let us know, so that people who need your services can, can also reach out to you, because there are so many ways in which we can help each other as SME. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you. I don't know whether we have any other questions for me at this point. If we don't have any other questions, then yes. So Tom is telling us what what the people practice can do for us: recruitment, training, development, policy creation, design, policy communication, and a whole lot of other things. Sometimes your own requirements might be unique in terms of you want something that is customized to your company. Talk to them, talk to us for the finance part, and we'll be able to then tell you finance. We also do processes, that's business process re-engineering and all that. So let's look at what you need, and then we'll be able to tell you how we can help you. Thank you very much. This is from one of our clients, Yemi Ogudein, saying, thank you, Pearl Mutual and BridgeAngels. Your partnership has been wonderful. Thank you very much, Yemi, for that. Can we allow Yemi to maybe unmute himself and tell us what their experience with BridgeAngels and Pearl Mutual has been? Yemi, please unmute yourself and tell talk.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Yemi Ogudein. I'm the CFO of Mayor Farms and Agro Services, and also Mayor Foods. We are an integrated agribusiness. We do poultry, we do broilers, and we supply major outlets, eateries, hotels, and we also do fish and other things. So we came to know Pearl Mutual shortly, a few months ago, and what they've done to our business is to help us package our business and try and take us a bit further. The banks, yes, we had a relationship with the banks, but the banks really did not understand our business in terms of the need for working capital, which had been the challenge. We had assets lying down fallow that we couldn't really maximize and optimize. So we met them and we opened up to them, told them our story, told them the challenges we had. And what we were able to do was to package the working capital finance for us at the nick of time, because for poultry, you need to catch the opportunities that come and be able to take it. We had idle pens that were not being maximized. They were able to give us the first tranche for us to do that, and we've been paying the next tranche we're working on currently to maximize remaining idle capacity. What basically we needed was working capital, nothing more than that, to be able to buy grains, get best, take the best to the market, and we have a wonderful model for selling. So ability to understand our business. Also, we had an approval that was lying fallow that we couldn't actualize from CBN. They have picked it up to work with us. They are working with us on process re-engineering and seeing how our business can really grow to what it should be. And if they had not come, they came in at the point when nobody would come in the midst of COVID. Nigeria is down, everything is down, but understood the business and they supported it, and we are seeing the effect right now in our business. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the positive comments, and we believe that I have a vision, and I believe I can say the team, we have a vision, and the vision is to see Nigerian businesses take over from where China has left off. That means we want Nigerian businesses, because we have what it takes to begin to supply the whole world, and we can do that. When people say Nigerians are thieves, they are this, they are that, it's not true. We want to change that perception about Nigeria, and we can do it together. And it's by building businesses, by listening to each other, by taking our businesses to the next level. Thank you so much, everyone that has been here today. You can connect with us. We are constantly putting out information for free. We are constantly sending out economic data for free without requesting anything. So now that your email is with us, we'll send it to you, but you can also connect with us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and as well as on Instagram. So you can see we are on the 4. Tom, yes, we are on the 4. All right. And even personally too, I am on the 4, because really, you need to be out there for you to really be able to get your business moving these days. Thank you, everyone. So I'm going to hand over to your host, your primary host today, Sumbola. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys, and she will take on, and whatever else she needs